Deep beneath the Siberian tundra, something is breathing. Not in the way you or I breathe, but in a slow biological heartbeat that has been paused for 48,000 years. We've always been told the permafrost is a graveyard, a frozen tomb for the giants of the Ice Age. But as the world warms, we're discovering a terrifying truth. It's not a graveyard, it's a waiting room. Scientists just successfully reanimated a creature that lived alongside the woolly mammoth, and it woke up hungry. Today we're looking at why the melting ice isn't just a climate disaster, it's a biological nightmare. Permafrost is unique. It's soil that stays below 0 degrees Celsius for at least 2 years, but some of it has been frozen solid since the Pleistocene. It is the perfect preservative. It doesn't just freeze cells, it mummifies them in a state of cryptobiosis. In 2018, researchers found 2 species of nematodes, tiny roundworms, in the Siberian Arctic. One was 32,000 years old, the other 42,000. They didn't just find them, they thawed them. And after 4 centuries of being frozen solid, these worms started moving. They started eating. Now, a worm might not scare you, but if a complex multicellular organism can survive for 40,000 years, what else is in there? We aren't just talking about worms, we're talking about things with teeth and things we can't even see. In 2016, a 12-year-old in a remote corner of the Arctic Circle suddenly fell ill. Then, dozens of people were hospitalized. Then, the reindeer started dying by the thousands. The culprit? Anthrax. But this wasn't a modern strain. A heat wave had melted the ice, exposing the 75-year-old carcass of an infected reindeer. The zombie anthrax had been waiting in the ice, perfectly preserved, and it was still lethal. That was only 75 years. Now imagine a virus from 50,000 years ago, a pithovirus. In 2014, scientists discovered a giant virus in the permafrost. It was massive, visible under a regular microscope. They revived it in a lab. Even after 30,000 years, it was still infectious. Here is the terrifying part. Our immune systems have zero memory of these pathogens. We are biologically defenseless against a prehistoric plague. If a mammoth flu or a Neanderthal pox escapes the ice, we won't have a vaccine. We won't even have a name for it. But it's not just germs. The melting ice is literally vomiting out the monsters who are our ancestors' nightmares. Recently, miners in the Yukon found Nunchoga, the most complete baby woolly mammoth ever discovered in North America. It still had its skin, it still had its hair, and then there's the wolf head. In 2018, a local man found a severed head of a Pleistocene wolf. It was 25% larger than any wolf alive today. Its fur was still thick, its fangs still sharp, and it looked like it had died yesterday. But why are we only finding heads? Why are these creatures so perfectly preserved that their last meal is still in their stomachs? It's because the freezing happened fast, and the thawing is happening even faster. This is where the science fiction becomes reality. We now have the DNA. Companies like Colossal Biosciences are currently working to bring the woolly mammoth back to life. They aren't just studying the ice, they are rating it for biological blueprints. But ask yourself, if we bring back the mammoth, do we also bring back the parasites that lived on it, the bacteria in its gut? We are opening a door to an ecosystem that the Earth rejected thousands of years ago. Imagine a world where these creatures don't belong, wandering through modern forests, carrying ancient diseases that our modern cattle and our children cannot fight. We are playing God with a deck of cards that was buried for a reason. The permafrost is melting at an unprecedented rate. Every summer, more of the great sleepers are exposed. We are looking for gold and oil, but what we are finding is a mirror of a world that ended in fire and ice. The question isn't if something will wake up, it's whether we are ready to meet it when it does. Because the ice doesn't just keep things cold, it keeps them hidden. And the sun is coming out. If you want to see the actual footage of the 40,000-year-old wolf head, check out our video on the running nightmare linked here. Subscribe to Primeval Life and stay curious, but maybe stay away.